Okay, so good evening. Hello. I am going to take you to one more flight today, and that flight is through the road. You must be wondering, how can a flight be through a road? But that's how life is. Sometimes it takes you to a flight not through the air but through the road. I am talking about your syllabus, Class 9 English, the poem Road Not Taken. Of course, you must have heard about it, but today I am going to give a flight of the insight of the poem, and let's see what it is. The poem Road Not Taken was composed by a very famous poet, and the name of the poet is Robert Frost from San Francisco. And Robert Frost is a very famous poet because he has written so many things and articulated himself so well on paper through poetries and all that. Stopping by woods on snowy evening, he's wonderful. So we have seen a lot about Robert Frost, who was born in, as I told you, in San Francisco. And he spent his life in England. He decided to keep the other road for some other time, though he knew that he might not be able to go to that road again. But that's what his decision was. And that is what this poem basically is teaching us. What is the importance of the decisions that we take once in our life? So here we go with the central idea of this poem, which talks about the decisions of taking less traveled road made all the differences in the life of the poet, and that makes the differences in the life of human beings as well. So here we go with the poem The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And being one traveller, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. So there we see that the poet is there at the T point where he sees two roads diverging. There is a diversion, and the poet is talking about the diversion that he sees till the undergrowth. He's trying to peep and make out to the very innermost corner of both the roads, that which road is suitable and which road he should take. That's where he says that, so, and then he's sorry also. He's sorry about what? He's sorry about the fact that at one point of time, he cannot take a decision that he travels both the roads. But then he has to make a choice. There comes such a situation in our lives also. What happens is that we are also stuck up at one point where we think whether to go this side or whether to go that side. But we have to take a firm decision. So let's see what decision does the poet take where he is standing at the diverge. Diverge means the one which has a division. Okay, and then the poet takes a decision. Let's see what is that decision. Then took the other just as fair in having perhaps the better claim. So the poet first of all is sorry that he cannot take both. He cannot take both. At one point of time he cannot take both. But then he took the other. Other means the one which was just not taken much, which was not travelled upon much by the people, which had the grassy area. Here we have to apply a lot of sense and imagery, like you need to imagine like how you could be those two roads. One road has a lot of grassy area and one road is very dry, as if it has been tread upon. So the poet is thinking there. He's trying to reach upon a conclusion whether he should go to this road or he should go to that road. Then the poet definitely makes a decision with due reasons known to him, which he explains further. Then took the other just as fair and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Now here the word wanted wear gives us one more insight, that is the literary device. Which literary device is applicable here? We all very well know wanted wear. It comes the sound wanted in wear. So wanted wear stands for alliteration. Here the poet gives us the beauty of the usage, alliteration also, right? So the poet takes the grassy one because it needs to be wanted wear, means it needs to be wanted to walked upon. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same, and the poet thought that it would have been the same if it had been walked over by other people. It would have also resulted in the same way, like he sees the condition of the other road which he is not taking. But then Worn means something which is withered or something which has been used or something which has become used. I mean something which has actually been used or taken in use. Then took the other just as fair in having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. Destiny can make a difference in life. Here the poet is saying, had that road which is grassy been walked over by the people, it would have also met the same condition. It had also been the same worn out. Worn out means used, made old. But then it is not, it is still grassy. And that is where the poet wants to go about on that particular road. He wants to take that particular decision to go and find out what is there. And here we see the poetic beauty also. What is the poetic beauty? The poetic beauty is wanted where. We see the literary device also here, and the word want, the phrase wanted where gives us a clear indication that wanted where stands for alliteration. So there it is. And both that morning equally lay. Both that morning equally lay. Now the word both stands for whom? For both the roads, of course. It stands for both the roads. I told you as in the beginning that there are two roads. So both the roads that morning equally lay in leaves. No step had trodden black. And there is not a single mark of any step over any road. So poet could not even make out, there was no sign or there was no symptom or there was no help for the poet with which he could take any decision. That decision had to be taken only by the realization, only by the understanding that the poet himself makes out. So we also come into life at such a point, and I call it a tough corner, a tight corner where we cannot go about making a decision because nothing, the circumstances do not help us. But then we have to read them well, study them well, and use our own insight and mind and then take the decision. So there the poet says, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. And then the poet is not sure whether he will be coming back to that particular point and have the experience of taking the other road which he is leaving at present. I told you that at present poet has decided to take the grassy one and he has decided against the other one. So he is not sure whether he will be able to come back and take the other one or not, right? I shall be telling it this with sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And then the poet says, I don't know whether I'll be one day wondering that they were at one point of time I was standing and I was thinking of taking both the roads. I was thinking to having both the experiences, but I took this experience, and because of this experience only, this is where I am standing at particular point of time. You can associate it with anything, your career choices or any decision that you make in life. After ages, when you go and when you become nostalgic or when you go into the flashback and you think, why I am here, maybe successful, or you attain any achievement or something. So you think, that was a turning point in my journey. There I was standing one day. I was so doubtful whether I should take that decision or not, but then I definitely took it, and that has made all the difference. So here we finish up with the explanation of the wonderful poem by Robert Frost, and the poem is Road Not Taken.